Okay, guys, we are here to do Married at First Sight, Season 15. It's a wrap, and I couldn't make myself do the reunion episode. I thought about it long and hard, and I'm really glad that I waited. I think this is what I'm going to do. It's like once they finish the last episode of the season, then I'm going to take my break and look at the reunions and then look at the Where Are They Now and then come back to put this last bow on top of this gift that Lifetime, has given us. So I have a list of, like, I have everybody's name individually, listed, and I got a word, or a phrase beside it. So I have Nate, I got sorry ass, and then I have Stacia, is stupid. I've got Morgan, who doesn't want to get married anymore. I got Ben is weak. I got Mitch as the winner. I got Alexis, and I have Mouth next to her. And Justin, I got Big Baby. Miguel, I have Tired. And Lindy, I have Unrealistic. So I think it started off with Stasia's mama coming to the house. And Stasia, was telling her that she has asked Nate for a divorce/separation, something there. So they had a fight, and I see her perspective. And it's really one of those delicate things because Nate put himself on this show knowing what his personality was like. So you can't come on a show like Married at First Sight and then want to take this long, slow walk to getting to know each other. You're going to have to move at a faster clip. And I understand, her point. That's unrealistic because she's coming into this ready with the energy and the desire to create some momentum. There's velocity and heat that's missing from here. And when I hear him and his communication, especially in this episode, not just during the reunion, but really during this episode, it's just all from that last blow up when he was like, I'm not in love with you, all the way up until this last episode, all I see is the same thing out of Nate. And he is very, he's got this power shift that he's got going on. He's the alpha, thing. And he has an issue with love. He has an issue with it. And I'm still waiting on this therapy that this joker was insisting that he was all about. I just don't get it. I don't get why he is not there. Ben is still talking about his therapy. He's been talking about it, consistently. And he's been about it consistently. So, I don't understand where this gap is with Nate. He's stubborn. I see that as part of his stubbornness. And Nate is one of those cats, like I was saying before. He reminds me of like an Olajuwon or a Jephthah, too cool for school. I got it going on. You lucky to be with me. He's been the one to have the upper hand in most of his relationships. And I can totally hear him saying the same thing to the woman that he was living with for 2 years. The same thing he said to Stacia. And if he continues down this road, he's going to end up in the same place. Because one thing I actually do appreciate Stacia for, even though I really do think that she's thirsty. And it's Christian. I should have put stupid by Christian too. Did I even put Christian on here? Christian's name is not even on here. That's crazy. But I do appreciate that she looks like she has a limit. There's a line, and when she gets to it, then she's there. And you're either going to, be able to I mean, I can see her getting to a point where she's done with Nate. And we'll see. Like I said, I think on the spoilers, they were saying that they weren't together to date, nor is Lindy and Miguel. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out more. The thing too with guys like Nate, and then see, this is the thing like about a dude like Justin that's annoying, for me. Justin tries to act like he's got some alpha to him, and he actually doesn't. And I'm going to tell you why. I see this in Justin, and it's causing a conflict within himself. He wants to be loved. This man really is thirsty to be loved. I mean, you have to, imagine a guy like Justin going through school, being his average joker, and then coming back over the summer, and he's just sprouted like a weed, and now he's in his brand new body, and, people still, he's still having the same, problems. Now, I can imagine him not getting a girlfriend. I can imagine him being picked last, for kickball or whatever. And the guys, him not being able to bond, doing the guy things, that boys do. And then adolescence and all of that. So I can see his romantic life being lackluster. And it's really affected how, like, his body image. You know what I'm saying? If you just look at him, for him to be so tall and skinny, I was listening to one reviewer, and they were saying that he's got a muffin top. He does. There's no reason why Justin should have a muffin top. That's ridiculous. And he wants to be something he's not. He's not accepted as a romantic partner. I'm glad Mitch is accepting him, as a friend. I'm glad that, he has friends. That's really important. But as a romantic partner, Justin is always going to run into this problem. He's going to have to reconcile who he is. He's not an alpha. And when he tries to go into that lane, it's just a bad decision. And he's always going to get bad outcomes. You can't say that you're comfortable and you're crying and then act the way that he's acting. Like the way he's talking to Alexis and the way he came at Nate and blocking people on the social medias. And, just, it's too back and forth. If you look at the clip that I put down there with him and Mitch, talking, he's still trying to defend, his conversation, about Nate. And Mitch is like, yeah, no. Maybe there's just a communication and perception issue, that's happening here. And he's like, well, we'll agree to disagree. And then later, he's sitting up saying, yeah, man, I was lying, I felt pressure from you and this, that, and the third. See, Justin, get that bass out your voice, boy. Come on, man. This is not even you. What are you doing right now? And now you put yourself, in this situation because you're trying to step in a role that you can't occupy. And you just need to stop. Same thing. Alexis, he knows about Alexis in her mouth because she's done things in front of him, just like when she was like, oh, he's celibate, and when she was in the car with him and they had their little minicam, on. That was footage. You were there. If you wanted to defend yourself, Justin, you had the opportunity, to do that. When she asked you, were there machines in the gym that can help you with your thrust? You heard her when she said that, and you should have checked her right then and there. But you didn't. And so now you're mad at her about one thing that she said on the after show. And I understand why he feels that way, because I understand the perception, of it. But that's what you're mad about, is what she said, on the after show at that point, or is it overall? Because I would understand more overall than just on the after show. So anyway, Alexis knows she has a mouth on her, and she should understand why he could feel that way. Even if she's saying she didn't mean any harm, which I'm not sure I believe. I don't know. I think that she tries to be tactful in her conversation, and sometimes when you try too hard to be tactful, it messes you up. So it could have been, and most people did. I think I did too. You know, I even put that in my video that I thought that she was saying that he couldn't rise to the occasion. So you know why this man is mad at you. Stop acting like, you know, he is being ridiculous because he feels the way that he feels. Now that's when you start looking stupid. And I actually do appreciate that she went ahead and apologized to him for what she said, you know, on the after show, if that was what the argument was. But I actually think that it was a total, you know, it was just the totality of the show. And she's just going to have to stand on that square. If you said it, then you said it. And live with it. Make your apology and just move smartly on. And let him feel the way that he wants to feel, you know, about it. You can't control how somebody decides to take, you know, whatever it is, you know, that you're saying. And like I'm saying, even if she didn't mean anything by it, the implication was there. So, you know, we'll hope that Justin, you know, can heal from that. My thing, though, again with Justin is he has had opportunities where he's verbally inappropriate to Alexis, too. And he's admitted that he, you know, uses profanity, you know, at her, and when the whole situation with the dogs and stuff, you know, all that argument, he sounded ridiculous. He really sounded ridiculous. There was another argument, and it's clipped, you know, down there, when the producer even had to come in. She was like, okay, y'all need to come in here because y'all saying two totally different things. When they had that blow up at the dinner, you know, he could be very inappropriate. You know, that was embarrassing, you know, to her. I think on the after show, and I'll go back and look at it and clip it, but I think on the after show, Alexis said that they'd agreed that they were going to wait until they got in private to talk about anything, and then he decided to bring this up at the table. So let me go back and look at that, and then if I find it, then I'll clip it. So yeah, if that's true, and then he brought that conversation, you know, up at the table, then, you know, Justin, you've got your moments where you were unwise with the way that you had her looking, you know, on TV, you know, as well. And then for him to get in the park and start talking about, you know, the pH levels, you know, of her bodily fluids, I'm like, man, this is you trying to do this again. And this is where he's making a bad decision. And every time he chooses to do that, and I have issues, you know, myself. I'm triggered. I'll tell you, one of my triggers is somebody disrespect me in my face. Yeah, I could turn into something else. And I know I should do the opposite. I'm just telling you, that's how it feels for me when I'm in a situation and my emotions are like, look, motherfucker, this is not today. So that's my battle. That's one of my battles, you know, that I'm doing. But I am able to be objective, you know, with Justin and see that this is a weak spot for him. That he's gonna have to do self-talk, and he's gonna have to make his choices. And the choices that you make, then you're gonna have to stand on them. Okay? You said what you said, and you did what you did, and you can let, you know, people know, you know, why you're making this bad decision, or a decision that may not be in your best interest. And I'll put it, you know, like that. So I'm just really just disappointed with Alexis and Justin overall. I understand that she was trying to wrap it up like Lindsay from last season. Lindsay did the tour. She closed up all those relationships and put that bow on that. Alyssa, not so well, but I think Alyssa did better than Justin and Alexis. I think she did better than who else? I guess Justin and Alexis were the most contentious, you know, of the people. I did like Alexis and Ben, you know, they buried that, you know, hatchet that was potentially, you know, between them, because Ben took responsibility for his part in that whole mess. I mean, it was so simple for him just to sit down and clarify any confusion that he had with Morgan. But instead of him doing any of that, he caused the whole chain reaction that has blown up into this big mess that we're in, looking at them, today. So it was nice to see he and Morgan squeezing some lemonade out of this, and they are at least looking at each other like two people again, and they are reconciling, themselves to where they're going to be, the directions that they want to go in, now. And Morgan, she's not even interested in getting married. And I understand. I'm not interested in getting married because, that's another, situation. We'll do a story time. Maybe when we're on the break, I'll do a story time, for you guys and give you some more insight on why I'm not interested in getting married. But for people that are interested, in getting married, I want them to be, successful, at it. And then who are we looking at? Okay, Mitch. Yeah, Mitch is my man. Mitch is still, special. But I really could appreciate his communication. I loved the tactician in him. He really wanted to have the best opportunity to seal up his relationship with Christian on a positive note. He was really astute and not making Justin feel left out of the group. While everybody else is on eggshells, Mitch and Justin is over there chopping it up. Mitch is talking to Nate. Mitch is, got Christian, got a gift. He was doing it. That boy gave Alexis a hug. I'm telling you, I will give him it. If an award was to be given, Mitch, it's yours, man. Good job. Good human work you did, this season. It was really good to be able to see him grow. And so, Miguel, I'm feeling Miguel because Lindy is going to break him. She's sitting up talking about buying a house when she still got student loan debt that she's not even interested in trying to pay off because she got to go on vacations and, do whatever else she wants to do, living her best life. And she wants to start talking about having kids. And Miguel is just, I didn't feel any enthusiasm for anything that she had going on in that conversation. It's like, Lindy, how can you not see this? What world, are you living in? And it's kind of painful watching her go house hunting. And you haven't even been together for a year at this point. So how is it that you think that you're in a position to go house hunting? Why don't you just start small and get a bigger apartment? Why do we have to go from 0 to 100? What happened? So that was frustrating, to have to put myself, through. So let's see what else I have written down. So everybody's trying to, help Stasha and Nate. Then Nate decides, that he's going to go over to the house and they're going to do this little painting exercise. And he's looking at Stasha, well, why am I here, Stasha? Why am I here? She was like, well, we got to film. I thought that was real good. And the answer that he was looking for was that because he wasn't ready to give up on the marriage. And I have no confidence in Nate. And this is the thing that Nate wants his wife to have in him. And if he continues to not give her what she's asking him for, it really is. It's going to cause so many problems, unnecessary problems. If he can stretch himself to be on this show, dude, you can stretch yourself and learn how to be more vulnerable with this woman and give her this. This is a good decision. And he feels like it's something like, it's like pulling teeth to get him to see that giving her what she wants is going to give him what he wants. And it's going to be a wheel of reciprocation and growth and togetherness, everything that he said that he was willing to put himself out here for. And that's when I, can identify with what Sasha, is talking about. She's ready for that kind of excitement. She's ready to do some stuff and make some moves, Nate is like, oh, well, come on, man, such and such and such. And like, man, it's just, and I kind of get that he wants to be right. And it's not that. This is not a right or wrong situation. This is how are we going to make sure that we keep this train on the track and we enjoy each other and we continue to enjoy the process of this. So, because I have, I'm looking at it, it was really hard for me to look at them, this episode. It was just hard. And then this was a really overproduced episode. It was ridiculous. And, Christian and Alexis with this double date thing that they had going on. I don't even know what that was about. Married at first sight. This is when y'all start doing too much. That was ridiculous. I did appreciate, some of the conversation and Alexis, her analysis on her end. Christian, I think, made herself really look even worse. Why are you putting us through this when you know you ain't even gonna be there? What if you had liked that dude? Then now you done put yourself in a situation that why would you do that? You got to go to New York, and now your mind is going to be consumed with all other kind of stuff. You have no time right now to even be thinking about a relationship. So you done pull this man on national television, so that you can have a little whatever Christian moment. And she just doesn't make any sense to me at this point. I think I understand what she's trying to say, but at this point, she's just in a circle to me. I see her and Justin a lot alike. She really wants to be loved. I think that she's kind of stunned that Mitch didn't fall more in love with her because she was being the superhero for him and really giving him an opportunity, to have a marriage, with her. And I think that she thought that she was better than Mitch. And she's stunned that he's going about his own way and asking women out and, moving on. And so when she started the episode, oh, yeah, I haven't talked to him since the reunion and I don't want to see him and blah, 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 blah. And then by the end of the episode, she sat in the bathroom and was like, well, maybe I should have gave the marriage a try after the cameras left. Girl, this is whiplash, and I'm not doing it. I ain't doing that with Christian no more. Yeah, and I'm really glad that she and Alexis won't be in the same city with each other. Because Alexis, I think, would be held back having to babysit Christian so much. So they still get a chance to talk to each other and visit each other and have a friendship with each other. But that distance is going to help Alexis chart her own path and not have to be dragged and be dragging Christian, around with her. Because Alexis was even looking at her crazy, like, girl, what are you talking about? And it was like on the clip that I put down there where Christian and Mitch are leaving the apartment. This is the production Christian. And I don't know this is. Anyway, so if you remember, after decision day, they were all sitting around the barbecue area. And Alexis was like, hey, girl, I see you ain't got your wedding ring on. What's up with that? And then that's when Christian and Mitch, shared their decision. And then when it was time for them to move out and finish moving their apartment, at the end of the episode, Christian in dramatic fashion took off her wedding ring and left it on the table. And then the camera zoomed in on it in a dramatic fashion. And then she walking out the door. So if you took the wedding ring off, they said you were getting a divorce, then why would you need to put it back on just to take it off again and leave it on the table and then walk out of the door? This is just that kind of stuff I will refuse to let Lifetime do to me. You're not going to pull me into this mess, Lifetime. I'm letting you know it. I'm letting you know it, Christian. I am calling you out. You can't. I wouldn't even give you an honorable mention for that acting job. Okay, you are not Oscar ready, sister. Okay, you need some more work. There's one more clip that I want to put down there from here. Who was it? Stasha planned an event for them. They were doing pole dancing in the park. And Christian thinks that she knows how to... Let me state it this way. The part that they put up on the screen that I saw of Christian pole dancing was atrocious. And if she thought that what they showed was good pole dancing, this is the kind of mental disconnect that is going on with her. Because I was like, girl, that was not... Even Alexis did a better job at pole dancing. When her first attempt in the apartment with Justin that was some sad stuff. So even Alexis was able to improve. And I don't know what planet Christian, is living on. So she's going to continue to run into the same kind of problems in New York that she ran into here in California. Because the thing that she needs to change the most is happening inside of her head. And it's going to be in the same place with her. So geography, in that sense, is not going to be able to help her. And she seems like she's one of these fixer-uppers. And I'm not judging her. I understand it. You think, okay, I can pour all of this into you, and then you're going to come back and you're going to really appreciate me and love me and take care of me, and we're going to live happily ever after. No, Christian. No. And this is the problem, I saw her in her judgment of Mitch. That's why she wasn't able to let stuff go, like with that whole attractiveness, thing. And it's almost like she doesn't understand dudes. Just because they can have sex with you doesn't mean that he finds the essence of your womanhood attractive. He said at the wedding, she's an attractive woman. He said that. That is not the attractiveness that he was talking about. And so she got hung up on that. And I think that, I know on the reunion, she said that she didn't believe him when he said that to her. But he was telling you the truth, Christian. So this is a moment that I think that she should have really just kind of fleshed it out so that she could understand what he was talking about when he said attractive. So she stopped at one level. She stopped at the surface level. And he even said at the wedding, too, that he's not about a superficial attractiveness. That is what he was, communicating. And I think if she could have understood that, then she could have met him on another type of level. I also understand, too, why she feels like she needs to put makeup on her face. And I think that Mitch is right. I think that if she stops wearing as much makeup and use lotion and allow the sun, really allow the sun to, give her some healing, in her skin and kind of do some other things other than doing conventional makeup. I think that was a compromise, that she actually could have made, with Mitch. And she got in her head. This is her understanding of what he's saying when there was a whole nother conversation that could have been had, around it. And so the way she was sitting beside him at the reunion was really, she looked uncomfortable. And I didn't understand where that was coming from, either. You're either past it or you're still holding on to something. Same thing with the clip that's down there with Luna in the kitchen. He's playing with the dog, girl. She just said that there was nothing that was going to interfere with her positive headspace. It wasn't even 2 seconds after she said that, Mitch walked into the kitchen, said hey to everybody, played with the dog. I think he played with the dog, said hey to everybody, and then, ended up giving, her gift. So it's like, she's very, as challenging as Mitch is in a lot of ways, Christian is challenging. And I don't think she sees that, in herself. And so, that was just really interesting. Yeah. Her and Justin, they break my heart. And then Justin, he's sitting in the house, talking to the people that he talks. I think he's cool with all the dudes except Nate. And then Nate is confusing. He's like, yeah, well, I accept your apology, but, that doesn't change the dynamic. But you're giving him a hug goodbye when it's time for, y'all to leave. Then you're giving him, dap. I don't give dap to people that I ain't cool with. So what are you talking about, Nate? Is this a television? This is made for Lifetime? Too? I can't keep this, stuff together. And that was another reason why I wasn't interested in talking, about the reunion in itself, because it was another production. I'm just over it. So, what else do I have written down here? Okay, so they had Ben and Morgan in the gym. That was produced. What I did like is that I didn't feel like their conversation was forced. I thought that the energy that was between them was respectful and cordial. So that was something positive that I managed to get out of that heavily produced scene that they gave us. Justin and Mitch was outside picking up trash. I clipped that. So that was another produced episode. I talked about Justin and Alexis with her pH issues. I actually could appreciate Alexis's reply. She really honestly didn't even let that get up under her skin. She was like, and what else? My breath stank. My feet too big. I'm too fat. What else, Justin? And she didn't do that to Justin. She didn't talk about his skinny legs and his fat lips and his red and jaundiced looking eyes and his muffin top and his lack of muscle definition. I didn't hear her say any of that, Justin. Okay? Just keep all of this, in mind, please. And so, yes, and then I put that. So, I'm going to finish off this video by talking about what I'm learning about men and women and how jacked up the negative direction that I'm seeing us headed in. And I really hope that Married at First Sight really does something with what they've got going on here, because this is a serious responsibility. I grew up in Alabama in the 70s. So I'm like an in-between generation. So like people like my grandmothers, women such as them in, the community, it was a different kind of male-female relationship and dynamic that was actually happening, at that time. So then you got people like my parents, generation. That was a very tumultuous, time. You go from the 60s where they're graduating college and coming out of the military and, starting to do their young things and meeting each other and marrying. And now they, 1970, 2 kids, trying to figure out the career. Then you have stagflation. You've got, Carter and Nixon. And there's so much stuff. It was an interesting time, and the male-woman dynamic began to change, especially in the black, community. So by the time I was, coming up, it was, now I'm looking back, I can start seeing the breakdown, as I'm looking and talking about the generation. So by the time I showed up and we started dating, there was the beginnings of the lack of respect between the two. Because in the 90s, we would have this female empowerment thing, I can make my own money, I can raise my own kids. I don't need you, this, that, and the third. And a lot of men felt a certain kind of way. But then let's talk about it on the other side, because a lot of guys, especially in high school, was getting girls pregnant and leaving them, marrying, somebody else after they, graduated college. And, now you got two families, out here. And then you got a bad economy. And it's just, then now look at where we are. In the white community, I know that they have these people called incels. And then they got these dudes called MGTOW. It's MGTOW. So it's men going their own way. And they are starting to do some of the same things that we were doing in the 90s. Well, I don't need a woman. I'm fine with the bros. Bros before hoes kind of thing. And then you got the incels who actually would like to have a relationship but can't figure out how to do it. And the communication has become so shallow and fake that it's really hard. If you don't have a good, solid communication in this environment, you're going to have a hard time trying to find a mate. Especially, if you got what you consider to have standards. She got to be this tall, and she can't be fat, and she can't do this, and she got to do that. If you're in a position like a person like Justin is really not in the best position to be running around having no real ridiculous list about the kind of woman that he thinks that, he deserves. And that was what I was saying in the other video. I don't understand what's going on with dudes like him and Nate. I don't get it. Because I don't know where he thinks he's going to get another Alexis. As challenging, as she was still, a decent human being. She's no better or worse of a human being than Justin is. And in his mind, he's trying to say that she is worse, when everything that he was complaining about with her was him. He's two-faced. He's disrespectful. He's, saying one thing in her face and saying another thing, on the camera. He did that all season. He did it on the after party. He sat there and blamed Alexis because Ben didn't want to be his friend no more because he's stupid, and let her hear the conversation. Where's your responsibility, in all of this, Justin? So, dudes like him annoy me because he has this kind of patriarchal attitude as well. It's not just a testosterone thing. It's also like a societal, cultural, nonsense that we've all been told. So when I started studying the Bible for myself, one of the things that I learned when the Lord had me look at the story of Adam and Eve, I learned how ridiculous that whole situation was. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And why haven't people held everybody, to account in this situation? Now, growing up in Alabama during those times, of course, we heard how detrimental Eve's stupidity has been, not just to females, but to the whole human race has used Eve as target practice because, like I said, of her stupidity. But my thing is, where's the responsibility for Adam? Because we're living today with a bunch of dudes. It's like, well, I make the money, and if you want to be with me, then you better, you better be this fine, your hair better be this long, you better be able to, have this and much money in the bank account, you better need to do it, because if you can't please me, black woman, this is what black men, are saying. It's called the manosphere. So I gave y'all the other one, but I didn't tell you the black incel or the black MGTOW. The black people are called the manosphere. And they had this dude named Kevin Samuels, You go and look and listen to some of the stuff this joker got to say, and then you'll start to understand the points that I'm trying to make. So let us talk about Adam, in this whole situation. And I was talking with some women, tonight, and And when I said this about Eve, I said that she made a stupid decision, and I have to take responsibility. I'm going to say, yeah, I understand why people are mad at Eve, for being as nutty, as she was. And I got to look, because, I'm in here in San Francisco, and we got these feminists, around here. So we're gonna defend our, actions, even when they're just ridiculous. And my thing to them was, and to you guys, as we're talking about this, she had one thing. You had one thing. You could eat anything in that whole place. You had one thing that you was not supposed to do. And you mean to tell me that even if somebody came up to you and said, hey, no, you got that wrong, okay? There's nothing wrong with that fruit. You should be able to go and eat this, okay? She should be like, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm confused because I hear what you're saying, but this is not what I was told. Give me 5 minutes. All she had to do was take 5 minutes to go and ask the Lord, hey, this joker's over here telling me that that tree is okay, but you said that is it okay? We could have avoided this whole entire situation. Just 5 minutes to go ask a question. She could have asked the Lord. She could have went find Adam and been like, hey, man, wait, come here, look. Just come help me out. I need to know. And he could have gave her the answer. But no. She going to sit up and go her own way. Use her own limited knowledge to sit up and make a decision that has now, potentially put us, in this whole dynamic, that we're in. But let us not leave Adam out of this party that we got going on. Because when she showed up with the fruit, and then he found out where she got it from, he should have knocked it out of her hand. And he had hauled her. He should have hauled her in front of the Lord and said, hey, we got a problem. We have a situation. This woman has went and ate the very thing that you told us that we weren't supposed to have. But Adam did not do that. Okay? What did Adam do? He ate it with her. And then started to blame the Lord. He was like, well, you gave me the woman. Yeah, I ate it. Because she gave it to me. So my thing to men is, how can you lead and follow at the same time? These are two distinct lanes that cannot be straddled. You're going to have to pick one of them, and then you're going to have to be satisfied with whichever one you're in. You can't be in the leader's role and say that you're in charge and women need to subjugate and be submissive to your decisions and your, direction, but then also claim to be the follower. So she came to you as the follower, and then you followed her when you were supposed to be leading her. See, this is the kind of thing I can't get with. And the older that I get, the more that I'm hearing all this ridiculous conversation, going on. I can tell you, who is it? The Manosphere Man. As a black woman, there isn't a threat that a black man can give me. If I am someone who is not satisfactory, for you as wife material, you could go out and marry a blue bitch. I don't care about you being with no white woman, no Asian women, no Indian women. I don't care. And y'all can have them. Y'all can have them. I will invite one of them to swiftly walk up out of the door, and please do not linger. Because if you do, the doorknob is going to hit you in your ass. Continue to walk smartly. I don't care. Because I'm not going to be disrespected by any human being on this earth, especially a hypocrite, and especially a man. I'm not going to do it. We are equal. We are even. I have things that I bring to the table that are valuable. He has things that he brings to the table that are valuable. There is no head. There is no end. This is a circular King Arthur style table that we're sitting at, and we are equal partners in this relationship. So either we're going to be able to accomplish that, or then we'll have to both go our own way. And I'm okay with that. And my thing is, to the incel, guys, I understand that they want to be loved. And it is frustrating because you're just a human being. You're a human being that people should want to get to know and say, hey, am I, not be this, that, and the third, but you know, he has these qualities, and that's the most important thing, you know, for me. Sometimes life, and we live in a society where life is just not like that. And we have to be able to just, some things we have to accept. I have the Serenity Prayer, you know, on my necklace. And it encourages us to take care of those things that we can, you know, do to improve, you know, our situations. But there's some times where you're not going to be able to do anything about it. And you have to learn how to accept it, you know, at those times. So getting mad and being resentful and cutting women off and having this animosity is not the solution, you know, either. I still really enjoy talking, you know, to men. Like I said, I don't want one, you know, romantically at this point, you know, in my life. But do I hate them? No. Do they get on my nerves? Yes. Do I think that they are ridiculous? Yes. Do I think that they are shallow and all of other kind of negative stuff? Yeah. But I like them as people. And so I really do. I invite us to start having these conversations, you know, with each other, because they are in our uteruses now. And one of the things that I was asking, you know, a guy tonight was, is there any part on a woman's body that a man will leave alone? I mean, they are so obsessed with being able to control women that now they are regulating our uteruses. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I ain't living in no Handmaid's Tale, nothing. I would tell these Christian nuts, I would tell these jokers in 5 seconds where they can get out of my face. And if we as women don't start holding them accountable, Handmaid's Tale territory is where we're headed. And you won't have anybody to blame but yourself. And so my thing to women is, as a woman who I actually used to want to be submissive, you know. I grew up with the Leave It to Beaver and, you know, Bewitched and, you know, the whole homie thing in syndication. I grew up watching that, you know, on television, you know, and I understand why women feel like it's okay. They want to be homemakers. They like being caretakers. They love, you know, being that kind of partner, you know, for their husbands. And if that's what you want, then okay, fine. That's your choice. But when you coming up to a woman, you know, such as myself today, yeah, I'm not that woman. If I was that woman, child, I'm not that woman anymore. And you're going to have to be okay with that too, you know, men. And, you know, vice versa, women. You know, when I was coming up again in the 90s, we weren't correct. We weren't correct. We were correct in the sense that we could be our own women, but I know the circles and the songs and all the stuff, you know, that I was living in, it was like, yeah, I'll take your sperm, but then I don't need, you know, the rest of you. And yeah, no, that was an error. That was an error. And so now we can reset. Adam can take his responsibility, and Eve can take, you know, her responsibility. And then we can reset and teach our children how to respect one another and get this religious mess, you know, that we've been fed. I'm telling you, a lot of the problems that we're encountering today, and I'm talking about all the way up to the financial system, come straight out of Christianity. Christianity is such a backwards religion. It is so backwards and disgusting. I am so thankful that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ woke me up to the truth about this nutty religion and the problems. So many problems. Yeah, I talk about that, you know, on my other channel. If anybody's interested, you know, just let me know and I can send you a link. But yeah, so as we're rounding out season 15 of Married at First Sight, I just kind of wanted to put this perspective, you know, in there. And like with my story time, to kind of give you some more insight on where I'm coming from as I'm reviewing, you know, the show. So I hope I got everything. I'm going to go and look for that video that I promised you guys to see if Alexa said that to Justin, that they were supposed to talk about whatever happened at dinner at home. They discussed that before, and then Justin reneged on it. So if I can find that again, I'll post it. If there's any other clips, like I might put not the Justin, but the Alexis and Christian double date. I'm thinking about clipping that one. Oh, and then I have to go and see with Lifetime. So anything that Lifetime has clipped, I'll put it under this video description, and you can go and check it out too. So I think I did it, guys. It would be nice to get some feedback and to communicate to me how you think I'm doing. I don't get any. I think this one time I got a thumbs up on one of the videos that where I'm talking, but people have been giving me thumbs up and stuff, for the clips. So I appreciate that there are people that want to see, that kind of content. So it'd be nice if anybody has suggestions to help me get better. And I guess I'll see y'all in January for the new season. Before I leave, though, I'm going to make a video about Olajuwon and Katina. I'm not going to talk about it, on this one. So I just want, and then I'm going to put some clips, down there. So that's kind of stuff that I'm going to work on in between the season. They just had the news that they put out on social media that they were getting a divorce. And I'm going to tell you how I feel about that on this next video. So thank you, guys. Anybody that made it this far, with me. And if you're interested in taking another ride for season 16, then I'll see you then. All right.